And now, live from the Old Guy John Studios, high above his garage, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, here's Old Guy John. On the microphone, how about now? Should be okay now. Coming through. Beep, 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 beep. As I'm waiting, doing these lives, Saturday evenings. This is the 24th of January. Coming in to you again. This is a pop up live. Um, Let me know if I have any sound, Kuro. I had my microphone off. So looks like it's coming up one person there. So let me know still if I have sound. Anyway, coming in, I do these lives with a theme. And tonight's theme is belonging. And what I found was a lot of content on belonging. And it was both positive and negative. So I found that kind of interesting, that it was both positive and negative. Let me check just here real quick. Yeah, that's not where I want to look, but I think I'm doing okay. Webcam manage. Okay, so good to go. Hear me? So you haven't been here in a long time. This will be replayed, so you will be able to see this if you're not viewing it live. So gonna kind of do a test to see if there's any viewers coming through on the replay of the live. But thanks for coming in. As always, I like to start on a serious note, and that is the topic of suicide. And suicide continues to be a significant problem here in the U.S. and throughout the world. Here in the U.S., you can dial 988, which is the National Suicide Hotline number. It's also some place that if you don't want to call, if you're a little bit hesitant for that, you can always text 988. Live counselors are standing by. Most of us, either our immediate family, someone we know, have been touched by someone who has ended their life. I like to mention that whoever may be watching this live or replay of this live, if you're in an exceptionally dark place, that there are live counselors there for you to talk to. Or again, you can reach out with text. The number is 988 on a cell phone or texting 988. I also like to mention, as a retired member of the military community is 2 to 3 times more likely to end their own life. So once again, it might not be you, but it might be a family member, a friend, maybe a veteran, or someone you work with simply, that notice they're down in the dumps. You can just, what might work is just saying hi to them, asking them how they are. And if you notice that they continue to really be in a depressed mood, if you feel like you might want to offer them the suggestion of reaching out to someone. And again, 988 is that National Suicide Hotline number. A person that I like to mention here on the lives, someone who is doing something about national or suicide prevention, is Kit Burks. She's doing something called Stride Beyond Silence. She is walking from the northernmost tip of Europe to the southernmost tip. She is a wonderful person that came through my FYP page, and holy cow, I've lost her book somewhere. Uh, but she has put out a book of poems. But if you haven't or don't know of her, I would strongly encourage you to check her out. Kit Burks. She's calling her trek Stride Beyond Silence. And again, in the effort to bring awareness to suicide prevention and mental wellness in general. All right, thanks for coming in, Old Guy John, senior citizen, Pacific Northwest. Got a little bit of snowy going on here with my green screen, but otherwise I think I look okay. I do these lives. I do prepare a script for these lives, and I read off a teleprompter. But don't be scared off because the content that I put on here, I pick carefully and do this content in theme. And again, this week's theme is belonging. I do 3 sets of content, and within each of those sets, I do inspirational quotes, inspirational poems, and dad jokes. So here we go, starting out with some dad jokes on the theme of belonging. What generation does Forrest Gump belong to? J and A. And I bought a shirt and some neckwear from eBay that used to belong to the guy from the Mamas and the Papas. All the sleeves are brown and the tie is gray. And 99.9% of people are idiots. "99.9% of the people are idiots. Fortunately, I belong to the 1% of intelligent people." There we go. And what do you call men who make women belong in the kitchen jokes? Single. And I rescued a dog that belonged to a blacksmith. Soon as I brought it home, it made a bolt for the door. And how can I be long when I be short? My dad always told me I belonged to him until I was 18. It was my first lesson in owning your mistakes. And what union do professional meme artists belong to? The memesters, of course. All right, Old Guy John, senior citizen, coming to you here on YouTube on a Saturday evening. Haven't done this since July of last year. Had an inspiration because I was looking at my content. I'm posting shorts nightly or daily in YouTube, and went over to lives, and it's like, hey, my lives are over there. I stopped doing these lives for a while because I haven't had any viewers. I have my moderator in here, but again, nobody else thus far, and that's okay. Didn't advertise this, but this is available on a replay, so I'm going to watch the stats on that, see if anybody watches this on a replay. Theme this evening is belonging. Again, if you don't know me, check out my check me out over here on YouTube and my channel. Thank you very much. Many dad jokes, wonderful like you just heard. Many inspirational quotes, a few poems. I actually done a couple other content type things over here. A couple of children's stories, and a couple of other things. So thanks for being in here. Going into some inspirational quotes on the theme of belonging. That is part of the beauty of all literature. You discover that your longings are universal longings, that you're not lonely and isolated from anyone. You belong. That's from author F. Scott Fitzgerald. And here's one: owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. Embracing our vulnerabilities is risky, but not nearly as dangerous as giving up on love and belonging and joy, the experiences that make us the most vulnerable. Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. Love that quote from Brene Brown. And here's one from James Baldwin, from James' work Giovanni's Room. Perhaps home is not a place, but simply an irrevocable condition. Something to think about there. And here's one: she didn't belong anywhere. She never really belonged to anyone. And everyone else belonged somewhere and to someone. People thought she was too wonderful, but she only wanted to belong to someone. People always thought she was too wonderful to belong to them, or that something too wonderful would hurt too much to lose. And that's why she liked him, because he just thought she was crazy. That's a quote from C. Joybell C. on belonging. And here's one from Stephen Chbosky from his famous work, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I just remember walking between them and feeling for the first time that I belonged somewhere. Love that one. And here's one: I feel sorry for anyone who is in a place where he feels strange and stupid. That's from Lois Lowry, from Lois's work, The Giver. And here's one again, maybe on the other side of belonging. We are all strangers in a strange land, longing for home, but not quite knowing what or where home is. We glimpse it sometimes in our dreams, or as we turn a corner, and suddenly there is a strange, sweet familiarity that vanishes almost as soon as it comes. That's a quote from Madeleine L'Engle, from Madeleine's work, The Rock That Is Higher, Story is Truth. And here's one from Wallace Stegner, from Wallace's work, Angle of Repose. Home is a notion that only nations of the homeless fully appreciate, and only the uprooted comprehend. Like that one. All right, thanks for coming in, Old Guy John. Main Burn, thanks for coming in. My love there on the YouTube side. Doing practice for TikTok and Instagram here in about 25 minutes or so. Thanks for stopping by. You can check out my channel, Old Guy John. Lots of shorts there, dad jokes and inspirational quotes. And then my regular posts, I have a few children's stories and other content for you to check out, as well as some old lives. First time doing this live over here on YouTube since July of last year. So thanks for coming in. Do these lives on a theme. This evening's theme is belonging. Now I'm going into the third segment of my first set of material. And this is a inspirational poem. I do call this the Inspiration Hour, presenting inspirational quotes like you just heard, some inspirational poems like you're about to hear, and of course those silly little dad jokes. This inspirational poem is called We Belong Together, and this is simply from a poet called Taylor. And this is from the Family Friend Poems website. And I would encourage you to check out Family Friend Poems website. This was published back in August of 2009. Here is a place for you and me, a special place for only us two. We have a special bond that no one can see. It's tightly wrapped in a cocoon. We are fiercely together in this magical place, even through times when threads might break. But every time a new one awakens to bring us closer and keep us strong in this very special place where together, we belong. That is, we belong together, from a poet called Taylor from Family Friend Poems website, published originally in August of 2009. And here's another one. This is from Caitlin Ramsarup, and this is called I Am No Longer Afraid. I am no longer afraid to fall, for I know wherever I am about to, you'll be there to catch me. In your eyes I see a world of happiness, for now I am no longer afraid of the world on the outside. Your arms give me the comfort of belonging, for now I am no longer afraid of being alone. Because of you, I am no longer afraid. You have given me the courage to become who I am today. Your love shows me that you'll always be by my side. That is why now I am no longer afraid to love. Beautiful poem from Caitlin Ramsarup called I Am No Longer Afraid. And that one again is from Family Friend Poems. Thanks for coming in. Looks like have a couple of people in here. Kuro and Ming Bird. Thanks for being with me here on YouTube. First time since July of last year. Old Guy John asks you to check out my channel. Subscribe if you care to. Not here to make any money, just here to bring inspirational content in a world now that is very divided. Out here in social media, if you can call YouTube social media also, is a lot of division out here. So I call this a safe place to visit on Saturday evenings. You're all welcome here. I call this the Inspiration Hour. I present content to you that I've prepared, and normally on a theme. Tonight's theme is belonging. So going into my second set of content, and that starts, of course, with some dad jokes. And two friends were comparing their belongings. The first guy goes, I have ants. The second guy, well, I have taller ants. The first guy, well, I got a tube of glue. The second guy, and I have an entire tin of it. And the first guy, I got bread as well. And the second guy, ugh, you win. I can't handle that with my gluten intolerance. What kind of pasta doesn't belong in impasta? And how do you tell what clan a Scotsman belongs to? If you look up his kilt and see a quarter pounder, he's a McDonald. What kind of fish belongs in a circus? A clownfish. The man's driving a van full of penguins pulled over by a cop. Sir, says the policeman, are you aware that there are penguins in your van? Yep, says the man, they're my penguins. They belong to me. Policeman looks at the man in disbelief, then back at the penguins, and then back at him. Sir, I'm afraid this is unacceptable. I need you to take them to the zoo immediately. The man replies, I'll take them right away, and drives off. Next day, the police officer sees this same exact van driving by. To his astonishment, it's still full of penguins. He pulls the man over again and notices that he and the penguins are all wearing sunglasses, sunscreen, and Hawaiian shirts. The officer gapes at him and says, Sir, I thought I'd told you to take these penguins to the zoo. Yes, I did, the man replies. And today I'm taking them to the beach. And what clubs do drivers belong to? Golf clubs. And what's black and white and obviously belongs in Neverland? Pan, duh. All right, Old Guy John, Senior Citizen Pacific Northwest, do this on Saturday evenings. Haven't been doing this over here on YouTube, so thanks anyone coming in here or watching this on a replay. Let me know if this is something that you like. Do these lives on a theme. Tonight's theme is belonging. Gonna roll right into my second segment of this second set of content with some inspirational quotes on the theme of belonging. The voice so filled with nostalgia that you could almost see the memories floating through the blue smoke. Memories not only of music and joy and youth, but perhaps of dreams. They listened to the music, each hearing it in his own way, feeling relaxed and a part of the music, a part of each other, and almost a part of the world. That is a beautiful quote from Hubert Selby Jr. from Hubert's work Requiem for a Dream. Here's another. A generous heart is always open, always ready to receive our going and coming. In the midst of such love, we need never fear abandonment. This is the most precious gift true love offers, the experience of knowing we always belong. That's a quote from Bell Hooks, from Bell's work All About Love, New Visions. Here's another inspirational quote. Some of us aren't meant to belong. Some of us have to turn the world upside down and shake the hell out of it till we make our own place in it. That's from Elizabeth Lowell, from Elizabeth's work Remember Summer. So making your own place to belong. I like that. Here's another. It was a great mistake, my being born a man. I would have been much more successful as a seagull or a fish. As it is, I will always be a stranger who never feels at home, who does not really want and is not really wanted, who can never belong, who must be a little in love with death. Very serious quote there from author Eugene O'Neill. Again, another perspective of belonging. Here's one. Society, as we have constituted it, will have no place for me, has none to offer. But nature, whose sweet rains fall on unjust and just alike, will have clefts in the rocks where I may hide, and secret valleys in whose silence I may weep undisturbed. She will hang the night with stars, so that I may walk abroad in the darkness without stumbling, and send the wind over my footprints, so that none may track me to my hurt. She will cleanse me in great waters, and with bitter herbs make me whole. Beautiful quote, even though I stumbled a little bit there at the end, by Oscar Wilde. That's from Oscar Wilde's work De Profundis. Here's another. I've always tried to make a home for myself, but I've not felt at home in myself. I've worked hard at being the hero of my own life, But every time I checked the register of displaced persons, I was still on it. I didn't know how to belong. Longing? Yes. Belonging? No. And that's from Jeanette Winterson. And that's from Jeanette's work, Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal? I like that. And here's one. This is from Czeslaw Milosz. Language is the only homeland. I like that. Keeping your language where you go, belonging in your language. And here's one from Sangu Mandana. It's not always enough to go looking for the place we belong. Sometimes we need to make that place. Again, that's from Sangu Mandana, from Sangu's work, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I like that one. Thanks for coming in on a Saturday evening over here on YouTube. Still have Kuro in there. So thanks, Kuro, for being here, or Ming Bird, whoever happens to be in the room right now. Don't see who's in, but that's okay. Been going here. Let's see where my timetable is. Doom, 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 doom. No, it's there somewhere. There we go. 28 minutes right now. So right about where I want to be time-wise. Thanks for coming by. Old Guy John, do this on Saturday evenings. Haven't done this a while over here on YouTube. So if you happen to come in live, thank you for tuning in. Otherwise, if you're watching this on a replay, thank you very much. I do this widescreen on landscape over here on YouTube. So if you happen to be watching me vertically, you might want to turn over landscape or portrait. Might want to turn landscape and get the full effect of my, got a shadow there from my green screen. Do these lives, call this the Inspiration Hour, on a theme. Tonight's theme is belonging. Do inspirational quotes, dad jokes, and inspirational poems. Here is a classic of someone longing for his homeland. And this is from poet Robert Burns. This is called My Heart's in the Highlands. Farewell to the highlands, farewell to the north, the birthplace of valor, the country of worth. Wherever I wander, wherever I rove, the hills of the highlands forever I love. My heart's in the highlands, my heart is not here. My heart's in the highlands, a-chasing the deer, chasing the wild deer and following the roe. My heart's in the highlands wherever I go. Farewell to the mountains high covered with snow. Farewell to the straths and green valleys below. Farewell to the forests and wild hanging woods. Farewell to the torrents and loud pouring floods. My heart's in the highlands, my heart is not here. My heart's in the highlands, a-chasing the deer, chasing the wild deer and following the roe. My heart's in the highlands, wherever I go. A famous poem from poet Robert Burns called My Heart's in the Highlands. That's also from Family Friend Poems website. Thanks for coming in, Old Guy John, on a Saturday evening, 24th of January. Theme this evening is belonging. Going into my last set of content here, starting out with a segment again of dad jokes. I belong to a family of failed magicians. I've got 2 half-sisters. Don't know if you saw that one coming. To what branch of the military do babies belong? The infantry. And a husband says, I want you, my dear, to have this bracelet. Belonged to my grandfather. All right, let's try that again. A husband says, I want you to have this bracelet. Belonged to my grandmother. His wife responds, why does it say, do not resuscitate? Someone asked me, who's that Chinese knight looking for his belongings? I reply, he's Sir Ching. And my friend thinks I'm nuts, says I belong in a padded room. I said it couldn't hurt. What do you call cheese that doesn't belong to you? Nacho cheese. What is a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it'd be R, but really his heart will always belong to the sea. And why do orphans try to be arrested? So that they'll be wanted. Hope you enjoyed those dad jokes this evening, Saturday evening, 24th of January. Old Guy John coming to you from the Old Guy John Studios high above my garage here in the Pacific Northwest. Portland, Oregon area is where I do this from. Planning to relocate to northern Alabama later this year. And retire. I'm retired military. Going to retire from my current job as a technical instructor. Looking forward to that. All right. Thanks for coming in on this Saturday evening. Theme again, belonging. Hope you feel that some of the content I presented to you here has been inspirational to you. That's all I care to do on these lives. So going into my last segment of inspirational quotes. I've been with strangers all day, and they treated me like family. I come in here to family, and you treat me like a stranger. That's a quote from August Wilson from the Piano Lesson. And here's one from Mark Peter Hughes from Mark's work Lemonade Mouth. How could you ever feel comfortable if no matter where you went, you felt like you belonged someplace else? And here's one from Lee Bardugo from Lee's work Ruin and Rising. You will always be one of us. Beautiful quote on belonging. And here's one. Is love this misguided need to have you beside me most of the time? Is love this safety I feel in our silences? Is it this belonging, this completeness? And that's from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie from Chimamanda's work Half of a Yellow Sun. And here's one from Angela N. Blount from Angela's work Once Upon and Ever After. You feel more like home to me than any place I've ever been. Beautiful quote. Wonder if you felt something like that. And here's one. Travel does not exist without home. If we never returned to the place we started, we would just be wandering, lost. Home is a reflecting surface, place to measure our growth and enrich us after being infused with the outside world. And that is from TV personality, and I believe he's a historian, Josh Gates. And that's from Destination Truth, Memoirs of a Monster Hunter. And here's one. A person with Ubuntu is open and available to others, affirming of others, does not feel threatened that others are able and good, for he or she has a proper self-assurance that comes from knowing that he or she belongs in a greater whole and is diminished when others are humiliated or diminished. when others are tortured or oppressed. Very inspiring quote from Reverend Desmond Tutu. And here's one from a person we all know and love. Feeling you belong is like a nice warm blanket on a cold night. Old Guy John. All right, thanks for coming in on this Saturday evening. Belonging is the theme. Ask you to check out my channel. Lots of shorts there, inspirational quotes and wonderful dad jokes. A few poems and other postings. Subscribe if you like. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out. So going into my last segment, which are inspirational poems on the theme of belonging. This is called The House of Belonging, and this is from David White. I awoke this morning in the gold light, turning this way and that, thinking for a moment it was one day like any other. But the veil had gone from my darkened heart, and I thought it must have been the quiet candlelight that filled my room. It must have been the first easy rhythm with which I breathed myself to sleep. It must have been the prayer I said, speaking to the otherness of the night. And I thought, this is the good day you could meet your love. This is the gray day someone close to you could die. This is the day you realize how easily the thread is broken between this world and the next. And I found myself sitting up in the quiet pathway of light. The tawny, close-grained cedar burning round me like fire, and all the angels of this housely heaven ascending through the first roof of light the sun has made. This is the bright home in which I live. This is where I ask my friends to come. This is where I want to love all the things it has taken me so long to learn to love. This is the temple of my adult aloneness, and I belong to that aloneness as I belong to my life. There is no house like the house of belonging. That is a wonderful poem called The House of Belonging, written by David White. Thanks for all of you who have been in this evening. As always, I understand that your time is precious, and you could be spending it doing other things. Easy for me to say. Thanks for being here with me during this time. And never forget that you, yes, you are a beautiful person. You are special and you are loved. Yes, you, yep, right there. You are a beautiful person. You're special and you are loved. As always, I kindly request that you be humble and kind in the coming week. We all need more of that in the world today. And if you feel so inclined, please open your heart to someone. Our hearts are a lot bigger in the inside than they are on the outside. So until next time, let me figure out how I can get out of YouTube here. Should be pretty easy for me. But thanks for coming in. Looks like somebody came in at the very last minute. Thanks for people coming in. You can see the replay here pretty shortly. And if you happen to be on YouTube or if you happen to be on Instagram or TikTok, you'll be able to catch me in a couple of minutes here. So thanks. Bye. Have a wonderful evening. Bye. Let me see. Bye. 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 See if I can get out of here. There we go. There's an end stream over here. Bye, 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 end. There we go.